Hi guys. Oops. Yeah, technical difficulties. Basically, what we used to call when I worked in IT, SFU, which means stupid user. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had a good day. If you're with me, drop a comment, give us a like. Bear with me, guys. I am just trying to get myself organised here. Sorry. I have been sat here with working out what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I haven't had long since I've been back. I've been really, really busy. I went for a long run today. I didn't think I was going to, but I did. I ended up doing nearly 9 kilometers, so I'm really pleased with that. So I'm still in my running gear. I wanted a shower. I just haven't had a chance to get in the shower. I had to go to the shop, buy a few bits and bobs, and by the time I got back, I had to eat because I was starving, and yeah, so then it gave me about 15 minutes to get myself organised, and because I had to ring my mum as well because she was panicking because I hadn't rung her, and because I didn't know I was going to go for a run today. It was a sort of spur of the moment thing, but after listening to and watching Graham's 2-hour marathon this morning, I thought, you know what, I've got quite a few things that I need to talk about, and I'm not going to be able to go live until possibly, hopefully, Sunday evening. So keep your fingers crossed for that, which will be about 6 o'clock again. If you're watching, give us a like, drop a comment into the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Are you having a good day? So I am running this month. Sorry, my nose rings the wrong way round. It's annoying me. I am running this month for cancer research, raising money for cancer research. And I have put the link to my donation page into the first comments below. So if you do get a chance and you would like to donate, please do. I am running for my dad, who passed away in 2022. Feels like yesterday. It really does. He had liver cancer, and he was given a new treatment. Well, it was a trial, so he could have had the placebo. We don't know. We'll never know. But anyway, regardless of what he had, it didn't work, and he passed away. I was with him when he did. It was 12:46 a.m. AM when he passed, and I think he went peacefully. He was asleep. He had been given morphine. He had been given a driver, so he had got less pain, I hope. But yeah, so that's why I'm running for cancer research this year. Hi, Stevan. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So far, you're the first person to comment, so well done. I know that some of you have asked in the past, are you able to donate to me? Unfortunately, my channel is not big enough for you to do that on here, with a join button or, buy me a coffee or whatever. But I have put the link to my charity fundraiser for cancer research into the comments. So if you do want to, I would really appreciate that. The money goes straight to them. Hi, Elle. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Stephen. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Is it the Scottish way of spelling it? Because my brother-in-law is called Ian, and his name is spelled Iain, which is apparently the Scottish way. He's a Robertson. He's the Robertson clan. So, yeah. So I just want to say happy Pride Month to all of my trans, pride, gay, lesbian, queer, all of my wonderful friends out there, whatever colour you are, whatever rainbow you fall under, I hope we have a good Pride Month. And yeah, definitely for trans, definitely. Well, I might actually ask if you are willing to take part in I'm going to be doing a series probably in July on with trans people. I want to interview them live on here and telling me about their, transition and what they've gone through. That is, if you're willing to. If you are, just give me a thumbs up and we'll try and figure out a way to contact each other. It might be worthwhile emailing Graham, but we'll see. Anyway, I might have to open up a separate email account because I don't want to get loads of spam from the Tate totters. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I've already got 4 of my trans friends who have agreed to do that, which is great. So I just want to, the whole intersection, we need to get that going. And I get so frustrated with people who, the TERFs, basically. Let's say the TERFs. You'll take it on board. Okay, not a problem. Let me know if you want to. No pressure at all. As I say, I've got four ladies already willing to, so that's wonderful. A couple of them transitioned a few years ago, so they are, well on their journey and their path. And, I think that the further down you are on that path, the more open you are. I mean, it's like when I came out as a witch. I was living in South Africa at the time. It's a very, very Christian country, and they don't take kindly to the alternate sort of crowd, or they didn't then. We're talking about during the apartheid era, and yeah, they didn't, because they didn't like anybody who was different, which has been me most of my life, to be honest. And so we call it coming out of the broom closet. And now I'm just like, yeah, I'm a witch. That's it. I don't care. Who knows? It makes no difference to me at all. Right. So I'm going to start with my, as I say, my cancer research. Yeah, my training for the 10K is actually going well. I did my Strava app tells me I did 8.62 kilometers, and my new watch tells me I did 9.2 kilometers. I feel like I did a full marathon today, to be honest. My legs towards the end were really starting to feel it. And what I used my running vest for the first time properly today, and I put because I've got 2 bottles that you can hold them so that they're like round, and one is a 300 ml and the other one is a 500 ml. So what I do with them before I go running in the day, even if it's just a 5K, it's hot for me. I like running in the snow and in the cold, and so I fill the bottle halfway with water and pop it into the freezer overnight, so that the next morning I fill it up with water so that I've got nice icy cold water to run with. So the little it was a 500 ml plastic bottle that came with it. It's a floppy sort of plastic. It is biodegradable. And I didn't enjoy running with it. It was flapping like that, and it was really doing my head in. So I'm like, okay, does my smaller bottle fit into the front? And it does, which is brilliant. So then I had my other bottle in my back, and then had to stop and fill it up a couple of times. I did actually stop, and I uploaded a little video, a little short that I did today when I was out running. Both times in the last 2 weeks that I've been to Clumber, there has been a cuckoo, and every time I get to the same area, I hear that cuckoo. So I did, with the short that I did manage to catch the sound of the cuckoo on the short. So I was really pleased with that. And I think Billy actually put a comment on something, and he said that he, had watched the video. So I really appreciate you guys for watching the videos that I put up. Some of them are rubbish. A lot of the shorts that I do are actually clips that I take from my full videos that I record, and sort of especially the Andrew Tate ones, because I get a lot of views on the Andrew Tate ones. Obviously, that's very important. I've been sat for too long, apparently. I made 1,000 extra calories today, so I had a bun when I got back, a bun and a coffee. Steak and chips for tea. I get one of those sort of big steaks, but I cut it into 4 pieces because it's just too much for me with my hernia. So, hi Freeside, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Guys, please ask questions if you want. Pop down some comments, chat to each other. I'm happy to debate any tater-totters out there, and as long as it's polite and with dignity and respect, not rah rah rah. Freeside, are you in Australia? Because you said good day. So yeah, if you are, that's great. I've got quite a lot of friends in Oz that moved down there from South Africa, some in Sydney, some in Melbourne, and a couple in Perth. So I think my brother-in-law's family is in Perth, because my niece went to visit them, and she's going over again later this year or next year, early next year. She's going to Thailand first and then to Oz. She wants to try and get a work visa and work there for a while. So yeah, she's really excited about that. So yeah, my running at the moment, as I say, my Strava app says 862 and my watch says 902 kilometers. So yeah, I used my gels, which really helps. I've figured out that I've got to have it slightly earlier than I would normally, and then it kicks in, and I sort of have a little bit, keep it in my hand, have a little bit, because of my stomach, and I can't eat a huge amount of food, you see. So, and it was Billy this morning who said that I should have had porridge, and he was right, I should have had porridge, and I didn't have toast, but I had half a banana on my way to Clumber before I ran, so I had that little bit of energy as well. So yeah, if you can, please donate to cancer research. As I say, I'm running for my dad, and I'm really looking forward to the 10K. I know it's going to be difficult for me. It's the first one I've done in 11 years. So I am going to feel it, and I'm 11 years older now as well than I was then. So, but it was my second fastest time today on the 5K, which I was really pleased with. I sort of was like, yay, when I got, because there's no signal in Clumber. It's a dead zone. So when I got to the shop, I'm in the car park, and I just sort of uploaded my stats, and it came up. I'm like, yes, brilliant, because there's no signal. So, and I'm not going to mess around with my phone when I'm driving. That's just asking for trouble, and the roads that I drive on are, country lanes. So yeah. So I wanted to talk about Marilyn Manson. Sorry guys, my nose is running. At least the pollen's not so bad now. I wanted to talk about Marilyn Manson. This story came up on my feed over the weekend, and I had a good giggle. Now, Marilyn Manson was charged with, or there were allegations against him for rape and SA and SV in the States. The main person who had made those allegations was Rachel Evans Wood. She was the actress that was in Westworld, the one that played Dolores. And she dated him for quite a long time, and she was young at the time that she dated him. And I have done videos on this, and you can check the playlist that I've got, and you'll find it there. And the things that she said that he did were absolutely horrendous. He, raped SV, SA, all of those things that were just horrendous. And I remember one story specifically was he was basically feeding her drugs and alcohol. And she was that young that he was basically grooming her. He was a lot older than her. And he was also married to Dita Fontees. And I've seen, I love Dita Fontees. She's absolutely brilliant, isn't she? But she was a lot older. And I think that Dita Fontees is also quite a strong person. So when Yes, Elle, you're right about the music video. I'll talk about that in a minute. Thank you for mentioning that. That's just jogged my memory. So when Dita Von Teese was interviewed, she said that they left because their lives had gone in different directions. And, you know, Marilyn Manson, he is this, you know, sort of persona that exudes, you know, diabolical, you know, dominatrix or, you know, type of BDSM kind of sex. I mean, I actually used to love his music. I really, really did. I think Antichrist Superstar is a brilliant album. But since the allegations, I refuse to follow him anymore. And I know that people say, oh, I should, you know, separate the art from the artist. But I really struggle with that because of what I've already experienced in my life with having gone through the same sort of thing. And I think that with Dita Von Teese, she was obviously a very strong persona, a very strong person. So for him to have bullied her into doing things that she didn't want to do probably didn't happen. Whereas with Rachel Evan Wood, as Elle said, she recorded a video with him for a music video, and it was being recorded in a studio, and there were the camera crew around them, and he was actually on top of Rachel Evans Wood and supposedly making love to her, and she had been plied with drugs and alcohol beforehand, and she said that it was actually really happening. And a lot of the people around the in the sort of film crew also mentioned that it did look as if it was real. So she said that she had not signed up to that she had not agreed to that. So again, it comes down to that consent issue, doesn't it? Anyway, so Manson is on a world tour starting here in the UK, supposedly in Brighton on October the 29th. And so this article came up from the Argus, the Brighton Argus, and I thought this was brilliant. It's probably not going to happen, but group protests against Marilyn Manson's Brighton performance. Article is by Annabelle Stock. Manson, real name Brian Warner, is set to kickstart the UK leg of his One Assassination Under God tour at the Brighton Centre on Wednesday, October the 29th. An online campaign group is calling on the Brighton Centre and Brighton and Hove City Council, which owns the venue, to cancel the performance. In January, a year-long investigation into Manson was dropped. Now, the reason it was dropped was because the charges were outside of the statute of limitations in the US. So they had to drop the charges. He was not found guilty or not guilty. So I've had a lot of hate on my Marilyn Manson videos that I've done, and people have said, oh, you know, well, he's not guilty. And I was like, no, he would have been not guilty if it had been, you know, in a court of law, but the charges were dropped. Therefore, there is no, you know, you can't say he's guilty or not guilty. The charges were dropped due to the time frame. So glad there's no statute of limitations here in the UK. California prosecutors said allegations against Manson exceeded the statute of limitations, adding that they cannot prove charges beyond a reasonable doubt. I think if there had been more investigation into it, they would have been able to, but there is a Channel 4 documentary that is worthwhile watching. It is on my playlist as well. Manson has repeatedly denied the accusations and dismissed the claims as falsehoods. Known for his eccentric stage persona and provocative statements and behaviour, Manson has long been a controversial figure. Allegations aside, his 1998 autobiography, The Long Hard Road Out of Hell, includes startling admissions about his behaviour with women. I've not read it, but I think it's something that I'm going to have to read, just so that I can, you know, understand where those alleged victims are coming from. Campaigner Stephen Kingston said, "He is just a vile man. Brighton is the first date of his UK tour and it's a council-owned venue. So we feel the council has a responsibility to take a stand." And to be honest, I agree. You know, if he's going to play at an arena, I think he's at Nottingham Arena and Manchester Arena, among some of them. But, you know, those are independent venues. But playing at a council building with what he's, you know, alleged to have done is a bit rich, maybe. It's a bit of a sort of kick in the teeth for women. We have put all this to the Brighton Centre and the council, but they have mainly ignored us. The Brighton Centre said, "We accept acts have different perspectives," and pointed out he doesn't have a conviction, but in the same breath they say they don't accept extreme hate. So what message does this send? Yeah, and that page is now frozen, so I can't scroll anymore. But yeah, what message does it send? And I do feel sad, because I think that stars, singers, artists have a certain level of responsibility when it comes to their audience and their crowd. And a lot of Manson's early crowd, when he first started out, was very young. And a lot of those people that followed him at that time are interviewed in those Channel 4 documentaries. I really, really highly recommend watching them. After getting in touch with the Green Party, Brighton and Hove branch, the group has received some support. And as I say, oh, there we go, it's moving now. Chloe Goldsmith, Green Party councillor for Regency, said, "Allowing this performance to go ahead in a council-run venue flies completely in the face of the values our city stands for. Questions need to be answered as to how this booking was ever allowed to go ahead in the first place. We urge the administration to urgently review its policy on future bookings and work with the legal and events teams to seek advice on how this booking can be cancelled." Brighton Centre and Brighton and Hove City Council have not responded at time of writing. So yeah, while it's probably much needed funds for the council, you know, where do we draw that line of, you know, getting rid of the hate? I don't know. It is a difficult, it's a really difficult situation, I think. Like I say, if it was a Motorpoint arena like the one in Nottingham and the one that I think he's playing in Manchester, I don't think he's playing in Sheffield. It could be Leeds, actually, I'm not 100% sure, because I get notifications on all those sort of bands, because that's what I'm into. And yeah, I just think those sort of things need to be policed a little bit better, I think. I don't want to sound like I'm taking away freedom of speech, because that's not what it is, but somebody who has allegations against them around those things and who has admitted certain things in, you know, his autobiography, you know, is that the sort of thing that a council, a city council, should be supporting? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Do you think it should go ahead at the council venue, or, you know, should it be cancelled? I personally, my own opinion is cancel it, but, you know, that's my own opinion. Then I saw earlier, when I just logged onto my computer, which has now decided to do something weird, that there's a new COVID strain that has arrived in the UK. I'm reading this from The Independent. A new COVID variant 19, it's NB1.8.1, is spreading globally, accounting for more than 10% of infections, and has been designated a variant under monitoring by the WHO, World Health Organization. It was first detected in January 2025 and has spread to the US, Australia, Thailand, China, and Hong Kong, with initial cases registered in late April. Experts believe NB 1.8.1 can infect cells more efficiently and may trigger gastrointestinal symptoms. But there's no evidence that it causes more severe illness than previous variants. Common symptoms of the NB 1.8.1 variant include fatigue, fever, muscle aches, and sore throat, similar to the other Omicron subvariants. Cases of the NB 1.8.1 variant have been confirmed in Northern Ireland, Wales, and popular British tourist hotspots, though the true number of infections is difficult to determine due to decreased testing. So yeah, my advice, keep washing your hands, use your sanitizer. You know, I've had all my vaccinations. I did catch COVID, I think it was earlier this year or late last year. I can't remember when exactly. I had a sore throat and I was tired, really, really tired. So there were 2 days that I had to, I went to bed on the Tuesday and slept all day. Then the Wednesday I was feeling okay. And then the Thursday, I was back in bed again. But it had gone within sort of 7-8 days. I'd tested negative again. So, you know, I think it's just a case of being aware. Like, I get back from the shops, first thing I do is wash my hands. Because you don't know. You know, it was something that I noticed when I moved back to the UK, actually, that very few people wash their hands. And if they do wash them, it's sort of like and you know, not washing them properly. And I can't stand having sticky hands. And I use a lot of ibuprofen gel on my knees. So I touch my knees and I'm like, it's sticky. So yeah. But I do have sanitizer in my car, in my handbag, you know, by the front door, all the places I need it. But just be aware that, you know, keep your hands clean, especially when, you know, people are touching things all the time. Yeah, stay away from people who are coughing and spluttering and snot-nosed kids. Stephen suspected this COVID thing was going to rear its ugly head again. Yeah. Bloody pretext. I know what you mean. You don't push or pull door handles out in public. No, I actually don't either. It's elbows or something around the handle. My sister has got a key ring holder that's like a letter J, and it's a hook, and you can open the doors and close the doors with that. Yours has all expired since COVID. When you say expired, do you mean hand washing and stuff? Just want to clarify that. Trip. COVID battered you the first time in 2019. It gets my asthma flared more than a regular cold. Staying healthy helps, like vitamins or diet, etc. Absolutely agree with you there, Trip. I have COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And so I was surprised that I wasn't coughing when I had it. It didn't affect my chest. But I've had all of my jabs. None of them have given me cancer. And as Andrew Tate will say, the jabs give you turbo cancer. No, they don't. Because I've had all of mine and I don't have cancer. Yes, hand gel. Yeah. Keep that hand gel handy. It is worth having it around, I think, especially, you know, because when you go into shops and the loose vegetables and that, I pick them up and want to make sure that they're right and that it's something, you know, it's not rotten on the other side and, you know, it's firm or whatever it is that I'm picking up. But, you know, you don't know what kids do. And kids are renowned for mouth, fingers, hands, touching and stuff. So, and then, you know, even the trolley handles as well. Get more hand gel tomorrow. Yeah, just to you know, save yourself from getting sick for anything. You know, I want to train every day. I run every day. I didn't run yesterday, actually. I was so tired yesterday. I'd watched Graham's live Politics Social, and I was falling asleep. Not from Graham, not from Graham, because I love the shows. You guys who've met me on there know that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to bed and have another hour's sleep. I ended up getting up at 1:30. I'm like, okay, your body doesn't want to run today, Debs. Take a break. There's no such thing as turbo cancer, medically no such thing. Trip, I know, I know. I know, but that's Andrew Tate. It's the conspiracy theorists, you know, sort of the right, the alt-right, like Tate and Brand and Musk and Trump and all the rest of them. You know, putting that fear out there, thinking that they know better than scientists, basically. Andrew Tate is a monster and a dangerous one at that. Stephen, I agree 100%. I'm going to be talking about him in a minute as well. And I'll get more hand gel tomorrow. Yeah, I just have, order some every now and again, just the little bottles, you know. But if you don't have hand gel at home, what I used to do when COVID was really hectic was always had a bucket of water by the front door with bleach in. And so, like, all the groceries that would come into the house, I would sit there and wipe them all down with that. Just a thought. But make sure you wash your hands properly, you know. That's it, basically. As long as you wash your hands properly. And I know it's something that a lot of us do, is we touch something and then we touch our face. So try to be aware of that when you're out. But if you've got hand gel on, hopefully those germs are not going to spread. So that's all about Marilyn Manson and his deviance. So yeah, I still don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. How do you separate the art from the artist? It's like with Johnny Depp. I won't watch any Johnny Depp movies now. I just can't. And yes, that he was cleared by the court and so on. And was she guilty? You know, I didn't watch the whole thing because it was just, you know, this media frenzy. Who was guilty, who wasn't guilty, 6 of one, half a dozen of another, you know, probably both had a little bit to go in it. But I mean, you know, most famous people of that level are narcissistic and do have narcissistic traits. Depp was, you know, known to take drugs and drink alcohol and had these flip outs. And there's footage of him breaking stuff up in the kitchen. Whether that was a reaction to her or the other way around, you know, that does happen, that a victim of abuse will have an abusive reaction to the perpetrator. That is a psychological, it is just a way of responding to gaslighting. Trip, Denmark or Sweden's COVID response was the opposite of our lockdown. Their COVID morbidity was significantly lower, but that was because most people worked from home and put in place strong measures. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, you know, it was just a case, at that time, again, it was misinformation that was getting out there, and people like Russell Brand and Tate saying that COVID was fake and all the other sort of things out there. I remember right back at the beginning, I saw it happening in December, and I'd already ordered masks and gloves online. This was before they all ran out. And I'd seen a lot of stuff on my Facebook feed, and I was in a group called Wuhan Warriors, and they were English-speaking people in Wuhan who were under lockdown and were reporting on it on a daily basis and how it was spreading. And I saw the footage. I saw everything that was on there. You know, a lot of it was hidden on social media by whomever, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a case of, you know, we still don't know if it was deliberate, if it was a leak from the lab, or if it was just from, you know, a pangolin and a bat. And we don't know. But one thing that I do know, about 30 years ago, I read a magazine called Longevity, or I did in South Africa. And in that magazine, a professor called Professor Graham Addison, I actually know his son, and he wrote an article on disease and on viruses. And he said in that article that the biggest threat to humankind is a virus, because viruses mutate. And I had this discussion with my uncle round about the same time. And then it happens. And I don't want to say like, oh, I told you so. But if you are aware of how science works and how, I mean, yeah, the movies out there, Outbreak and all of those that were out sort of round that time with Marburg and Ebola and hantavirus and all of those. I lived in South Africa, and although they didn't really come into our area, there was always that fear. And I had, before we moved to South Africa in 1982, we were advised to have our typhoid and cholera vaccinations, which I had both of those as well, which, to be honest, I'm glad about, because there was a cholera outbreak in a village close to where I lived. So, yeah, it could have spread. Trip, you can't listen to the Chili Peppers anymore. Lots of music makes my tummy turn over now. Rammstein as well. I love Rammstein. I've seen them live. But since the news came out about, was it row number 7? And those charges were dropped as well. But I know how hard it is to prove those sort of cases. Elle, you also reacted early to COVID around 1st of Jan. I was seeing something as well earlier on today. I think it might have been in the feed, on Graham's feed actually, on the chat, about Y2K. When I lived in South Africa, I did the auditing for Y2K for the IT department, and I was on standby on that New Year's Eve. I was so annoyed because I wanted to party, you know. And luckily, I'd been really, really strict with it. They just give me these papers. I go, no, you've not done this properly. Fill it in. They're like, oh, do we have to? I'm like, yeah, you do. Just check that this fax machine works, or check that, you know, because we had old Sun servers, and it was on the Unix system. And there was a massive computer room that we had with all the old servers in it. And yeah, that I was actually also disaster recovery and quality assurance. So I had a massive role in that company with making sure that the company would carry on running if everything went wrong. Which is why I am now prepared for the zombie apocalypse. I cannot wait for the zombie apocalypse. Bring it on. Bring it on. So coming back to Andrew Tate and his nefarious doings. I'm just going to play you this. Hopefully you can hear it. Let me know if you can, or if you can't.
A single about women and girls, or they'd stop the boats. They don't give a single about women and girls, or they'd stop the grooming gangs. Why are they dragging up allegations on me from 15 years ago by promising women money if they lie? And after an extensive investigation, contacting over 1,000 women, they found 3 girls who were prepared to lie. What about the 997 who said I'm a nice guy? This is a setup, this is a stitch up, and do not buy their garbage for a second that they give a single about the young women inside the UK, because they don't care. Our streets run with blood, women are unsafe, people get stabbed to death, crime is out of control. Does the media talk about murderers every day? No. Does the media talk about drug dealers every day? No. Does the media talk about the crime committed by the migrants we let in every day? No. The media talks about me every day. Why? Because I highlight the problem. Not because I am a problem, but because I tell you there's a problem. The UK...
He thinks he's so special, doesn't he, that he says the media talks about me every day. Sorry, guys. No, the media doesn't talk about you every day. Generally. The media talked about you this past week because the charges were, you know, finally put against you. And there is a warrant out for you to be extradited back to the UK. But his reaction there is typical Darvo response of a narcissist. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. So he is denying, first of all, he's denying these charges against him. And he says they found 3 girls and the other 999 that like him. What about them? again, that's spreading that doubt. Like, I'm a nice guy. Must come to something that somebody posted on a thread that I was chatting on last night. And so he denies these allegations. And then he attacks the UK government. Now, the Crown Prosecution Service has a really strict, tight sort of control over the cases that it will try. It will only try cases where it thinks it will get a conviction against these kinds of crimes. Any woman who has experienced any form of grape or SA or DV will know how difficult it is to get the conviction from the investigating officer handed to the sergeant of the police station, and then the sergeant will probably throw it back and say, insufficient evidence, the CPS are not going to take this. So the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, is separate to the government. Yeah, it falls under that banner, but this has got nothing to do with the government. This has got everything to do with the alleged victims who want retribution. I doubt very much that they want a payout from this, because I think that he would be hoping that he could pay them money and just make it go away. But there are 44 women in Romania on the Romanian charges. There are 4 women in the UK, and these new charges are new women against him. So there's already the 4 UK women and then a couple of other women on top of that, I believe. And he's complaining that they go back to, well, he first said 2008, 2009, which is not, it's actually 2012 and 2015. So these cases go back that far, but there is no statute of limitations here in the United Kingdom. We can try those crimes. And for the CPS to have issued an arrest warrant, they must have sufficient evidence against him. And I look around at the comments that I get on some of my videos that I do about him, and some of the other videos and content creators that talk about Tate, and I go and watch them and comment. A lot of the tater-totters think that he is not guilty. And yet there's also charges in America as well. What's happening with those, I don't know. There was these were civil charges that I think 3 of the women there was a Jane Doe, a Sarah Doe, and another one that was also unnamed. They wouldn't name them because one of the ladies, Brianna, I think her name was, she was actually doxxed by the Tates, and she was harassed by his goons, and they found where she lived, and they were threatening her. And so I think she dropped the charges and she's vanished. She's disappeared. Nobody has heard from her. And who can blame her? And that's another reason that why women do not report these kind of charges, because the fear they have of the perpetrator. If it doesn't get to court, then she's still got to live with that fear of that person possibly being around the corner from her. I know when my last relationship ended, and it was very, very, very violent, I had the locks changed. I contacted a security company. Luckily for me, the police station is actually just at the top of my street. But I was terrified that he would come back and do something. Most women who have gone through an abusive relationship will feel that way. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to experience something like that. Wow, it's 10 to 6 already. Goodness me. So he's complaining that these cases may not be real, and he's saying the Matrix is out to get him. He is the Matrix. And And I think I said on Sunday that he's now increased the prices of his real world university, Hustlers University. So it was $49 a month. Now it's $99 a month. The price went up on June the 1st. And in those courses that he offers, you can learn to mow the lawn, rake leaves, walk a dog, pressure wash a car, and various other things. And that's going to make you a millionaire. I feel sorry for these young men and boys who buy into this. I really, really do. Another thing he says quite a lot of is, oh, we're the biggest online university. No, they aren't. I actually went and checked. Just bear with me. I did. Where is it? What's that one? Not that one. I did get the top online universities, long distance universities in the world. Number one, take a guess. Take a guess what number one is. It's been in the news recently. University. No. Excuse me, guys, for coughing. Let's have a look. Have a guess what university is number one. Yes. Well done, Trip. Kudos to you. Yes, Harvard, number one. Columbia University, number two. European Institute of Management and Technology, EIMT, number three. Number four, Birchwood University. Number five, University of Edinburgh. Six, Johns Hopkins. Seven, Boston. Eight, American University. Nine, University of Manchester. That's here in the UK. MIT, Arizona State University, University of Birmingham. That's here in the UK. Georgia Institute of Technology, University of Glasgow, Sheffield University at number 15. That actually really surprised me because that is when I graduate, that's where I'll be going to get my certificate. University of Texas at Austin, University of Leeds, Southampton, University of Sydney, and Monash University. So yeah, no, Tate does not have, he's not like the number one university. And he claims that this degree, that he's been saying that they're going to get a certificate for a long time now, and they haven't. They still don't have a certificate. I mean, who, as a business owner, is going to employ somebody who has some sort of piece of paper from Andrew Tate's university? Sorry, I'll come back to Red Hot Chili Peppers in a minute, but Cambridge and Oxford University offer free online courses for your information. Nice to have. I didn't know that, Trip. I actually didn't know that. I'm studying through the Open University. I've just got my confirmation for my next module, so I haven't got too long to go now, and it just gets harder. The first module I did, I thought, this is great. I got distinctions. I was doing really, really well. I was super happy with it. And then this last one, yeah. I was always rubbish at maths at school, always rubbish. And yet, the maths stuff that I've had to do for uni, I've aced them. I've got 100%. I'm like, how? How has that happened? It's just impossible. And I think for me, the biggest problem I have is with a comma. I tend to write my essays like a conversation, and I need to remove the comma. So I had to go and look at Cambridge comma and learn how to not put as many commas in and shorten my sentences as well. I found that very difficult. So yeah, Tate, it just comes up with all this rubbish. So like I say, he increased the price. He is denying and attacking. He's making himself, so he's reversing himself as the victim, and he is making the victims out to be the offenders. And the tater-totters believe him. He also still says that the case in Romania was dropped. It wasn't. It is still ongoing. It is still ongoing. He lies constantly. These are not porcupines. These can be verified online. You can actually go and Google this and find it. It is there. It is in the public domain. And anybody who wants to find out more about these whole issues, there's a guy that I follow called Gadget. He's Australian. He has been investigating them for a long time now. And the Tates are actually suing him and a number of other content creators who talk about the Tates. They're getting desperate. The reason that they have increased the price on the real world university courses is because they need the money. They obviously, with their lawyer fees, are losing cash. So increase the price and, make a little bit more cash. It's just a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. I feel so sorry for those kids that are being sucked into the whole situation. It really is just, I can't. I wish that those kids would, wake up and see what's happening. And it's very difficult for a lot of people to admit when they're wrong and to say, okay, I was wrong. I didn't realize that this was the case. And I will, but I have had a few ex-tater-totters on various feeds and on different comments say, yeah, I was sucked in by that and I've realized that it was all rubbish. Those things that he teaches, you can learn in life. And I think that a lot of it occurred through lockdown when kids that age couldn't get out, couldn't be with their friends and missed those sort of 2 years of schooling and of life. And I do feel really, really sorry for them. I just wish that COVID hadn't happened. I wish that people would have listened and actually, done what they could to prevent it from spreading. But unfortunately, there's always some idiot who thinks they know more than a scientist. I tend to believe the science because maths is never wrong. It can't be wrong. So I've just got to check the time minute that I need to go to here. These are from Gadget's latest video that he uploaded today. I will pop a link into the description box below. Definitely worth having a listen to this and going and watching this. So these are just a couple of the clips of Tate tating. Of course, advertisement as always.
You can cut through tough grief.
Always blooming adverts.
Leave your whole
All of the future, the investment is coming, and the price will massively increase. However, anyone who joins the real world now, anyone who gets their power level over 1,000 will be grandfathered in on the price. So now is your chance to join the real world, increase your power level, and be grandfathered in before the price increases by a factor of 4 or 5x post-investment when the certification is available.
Yeah, so he's been promising this certification. That was dated the 23rd of March this year. He's getting desperate. He is getting desperate. He knows that he is going to be in a lot of trouble when he does eventually face these charges. Even though he keeps saying that he is, innocent. And I just want to reiterate, he is innocent until proven guilty. Because I had one Tater Tot make an absolute fool of himself the other day in one of my shorts, commenting, innocent until proven guilty. And I'm like, you didn't watch till the end, did you? It's like a minute long. You didn't watch till the end. And he came back and he said, touche, okay, you're right. Steve, yeah, I'll go with the scientist. Absolutely. I know now from this studying that I'm doing, because I want to go on to get my doctorate, it is not easy. You have to be super intelligent to succeed at university and with these degrees. It's not like being at school. And especially when you are studying from home, because you have to force yourself to study. you really have to make yourself study. It's sometimes you think, oh, I don't feel like it today. But you know that if you don't, like me, you're going to end up 2 weeks before your final essay is due cramming every day. Yeah, the ads are a pain. I think, Stephen, I'm going to have to pay for YouTube Premium. Trip might as well be selling stars in the sky, name a star and give it to a friend. Didn't somebody do that? Wasn't somebody selling bits of the moon? Was it Trump? I'm sure that was something a couple of years ago. There's too much proof out there and so many victims. That's exactly it, Stephen. There are so many victims in different countries around the world of different nationalities, different times as well. Not all from this year or last year, but, you know, some of them were allegedly 15 at the time. So, yeah, Romania has a lower statutory age than we do, as do some other countries as well, hence them going to Romania. Because as we know, the manosphere likes to say that, you know, an untouched woman is the best that you can have, and so on and so on. And even Andrew and Tristan say the same thing. You know, get a virgin, because then she's yours. And that's just not the case. Stephen, I believe the Tate's time is up and just a small matter of time. Yeah, I think the case is due in Romania sometime next year or in 2027. I know Russell Brand's case comes up 2027, so he's got 2 years to go as well. And again, I've seen people say, oh, but, and Tate said this, you know, it's him and it's Russell Brand and, you know, all these people who are famous and they don't like us because we say things that they don't like. No, it's because you're criminals. You know, if you're a criminal, you're going to get caught. And if you can't do if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And what is going to happen to him in prison? Yeah. All we have to do is listen to his dialogue and the way he talks to women and the accusations. I'm sure he will be found guilty. They better not put me on the jury, because he'll be guilty before he goes to court. That, you know, they do something that I've actually been studying this last module was jury duty and how they choose the jurors and so on. I'm like, if it's something to do with a you know, a grape or an SADV SV case, I'm going to say guilty, because I will always believe the victim. And people say, yeah, but there are so many victims that lie and, you know, it's not true. Actually, that is wrong. It is very, very, very few who actually, you know, are lying about it. I'm going to do a video soon I've got a list of videos that I need to do about grape statistics. And I have done one previously. I will try and link it into the description box below as well when I've finished here. But yeah, there's so much sort of misbelief around grape that has been spread by the likes of Tate and other patriarchal, misogynistic men. Yeah, Trump would sell dirt if he could. I'll doubt he'll get into selling tacos. Yeah, he wasn't too pleased about being called that, was he? Stephen, after all, if Tate goes to prison, he'll be hell be a virgin, will he not? Yeah. Yeah. But then again, he is an ex-kickboxer. So, you know, I guess it depends on which gang he joins and which prison he goes to. If he goes to prison, obviously, he's innocent until proven guilty. But anybody who looks at all of these allegations and has an inkling that, no, he's not guilty, this is all lies, obviously is a candle short of a birthday cake, or a sandwich short of a picnic, or any one of the other euphemisms out there for a village missing its idiot. Tate's as hard as putty when he's got his mates around. There was actually footage I saw of him, I think it was last week. He had some of his guys over in Dubai from the top sort of war room guys, and he was fighting them in a cage. He was doing his cage fighting. And, he was knocking the guys out. I mean, one of the guys was tiny. Tate claims he's 6'3". I'm not 100% sure. Somebody mentioned that he's actually 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. Oh, yeah, and that was another comment yesterday from a Tate, which I found so hilarious. He said, yeah, just you stand in front of Tate and tell him that and see what he does to you. And I'm like, you see, you're actually outing the fact that he is abusive to women. Need I say more? And then there's this comment as well that I just want to play. Hopefully there won't be another ad.
We'll give him more money later.
But I have promised anybody who joins before the price raise will be paying the original price for the rest of time. That is a guarantee from me. You are grandfathered in. You can ignore the real world as long as you want. You can sit and pretend that you don't need us, but you do need us because there is no escape. So you are going to join us whether you like it or not, or you're going to retain the position of eternally and forever poor. The Borg cannot be escaped. Resistance is futile. The price is going to raise on June 1st as we are launching brand new, extremely significant capabilities inside of the school for all of our students. There are two alternatives. You join later and you finally start working to escape the matrix and pay more money than you should have paid, or you stay poor forever. The choice is yours. Resistance is futile. You need us, we don't need you, and we are waiting for you inside of the real world.
Resistance is futile, guys. Resistance is futile. Thank you, Stephen and Elle. Yeah, it was like, you're just proving what I've said. He sounds like a snake oil salesman and an angry one at that. I know. I always go in the comments and say, why is he always so shouty? Because apparently he's not an emotional person. Apparently in the manosphere, men are not emotional. But anger is an emotion. I think they forget that. And, that sort of emotion comes from testosterone. Now, obviously, I'm just pointing out here that it's not all men. Not all men are like this. And I know this for a fact. My dad wasn't like that. He would get angry. And I would run and hide when I was a kid, but not all men. He's basically threatening young boys and men to pay to join his real world. It's so sad. It is so sad that sorry, I've just seen some breaking news come up here. I just want to open this up and see what this is about. But it's so sad that these kids, and he says, oh, get away from the Matrix. But he is the Matrix. You will be assimilated, ha ha ha. Yes. Sorry. Oh my goodness, there's been a stabbing in York. Manhunt for knifemen on the loose as armed cops swarm the city centre. Let's hope that certain people don't go on and say it's so-and-so and that they end up with a blooming riot in York tomorrow. Police have cordoned off an area of Walmgate in York after a suspected stabbing as a man is taken to hospital with injuries. North Yorkshire Police said they were called by the ambulance service to an incident at the Walmgate area of York at around 12:17 p.m. The force said in a statement that a man was taken to hospital with a suspected stab wound to his chest. Police said a cordon was put in place while officers examined the scene of the incident, though according to York Press, it has since been lifted with the road reopened to traffic. Enquiries are ongoing to trace the suspect involved in the incident. Officers believe the people involved are known to each other, and although of concern and alarming to the people who witnessed it, officers believe that the wider public were not at risk. Okay, so that's actually, it's not good news, obviously, but at least it's not some sort of random lunatic like Radicadebe was. I mean, they're random lunatics anyway. Anybody who does that is a random lunatic, but possibly some sort of argument that has ended up in this situation. So yeah, I'll keep my eye on that and see what happens. Stephen, another stabbing. Geez, oh, this world is just so effed up. Yeah, it is. It is. And what worries me is I'm pagan, I'm a witch, and I have a collection of ritual knives that are real knives, but they are for ritual purposes. And they were talking about taking away knives from people. And I think that King Arthur, okay, yeah, I know. He is, King Arthur is, I'm mates with him on Facebook. He's a bit of a, he's one of the druids, one of the head druids at, he's not part of OBOD, which is the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. He's one of the druids, Arthur Pendragon, he calls himself. He's calls himself the sort of ancestor, or, you know, his ancestor was King Arthur, and he had a sword, and I believe that that was taken away from him. So, yeah, how, you know, when we use these things in our rituals, they're not there. We don't, you know, I'm not a Satanist. We don't use them to unalive animals. I mean, for goodness sake, I save spiders. Although there was one the other week, and I know that Graham was talking about this, and I just thought, yeah, when I was driving to my mum the other weekend, and I've got spiders in my car. I tend not to clean my car very often, and I'm sat there driving on the motorway, and all of a sudden this spider just starts lowering itself in front of me, a big daddy long legs. I'm like, ooh. Luckily I didn't crash the car, but I just burst out laughing because all I could think about was that old joke where the woman was trying to kill the fly or the spider or whatever and crashed into a tree. The media will spin this somehow. They probably will. They probably will. They'll probably say that they were gang members and so on. And I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. It doesn't say. And I just think that that is awful. And I wish that it would end. But there's another bit about Andrew Tate here, which a lot of people have not mentioned. He managed to buy himself a golden passport for Vanuatu. Which is a sort of sovereign state that allows, although it's probably illegal, allows people to donate money for their passport. So he bought this in 2022. This is from the World Politics site from 12 hours ago. An investigative media outlet has revealed self-described misogynist Andrew Tate bought a Vanuatu, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Vanuatu passport in 2022, the same month he was arrested in Romania. Vanuatu runs a controversial yet lucrative citizenship by investment scheme that critics say has attracted organised criminals and oligarchs seeking to evade foreign law enforcement. What's next? A Vanuatu government official told the ABC that authorities would look to revoke Mr. Tate's citizenship. So yeah, I think applicants can be granted citizenship for a minimum investment of $130,000 US. The passport was granted in December 2022, the same month of Tate's arrest in Romania. According to an investigation by the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, a non-profit organisation headquartered in Amsterdam, there was no indication that Mr. Tate's brother Tristan, who was also arrested in 2022, had received a Vanuatu citizenship, its report said. That word, Government spokesperson Thierry Manassa told the ABC it was investigating the matter. We're definitely looking into it, and once we have the files, definitely the process will be in place to revoke his citizenship. So yeah, there we go. Another way out, another little way out that he's got. Years ago at my brother's house, he had knives on the wall as you came through the front door. I said, for what? And he said, if someone breaks in. I said, what? You'll be arming them, not you. Yeah. Best defense weapon is a hooked walking stick, creates distance. I used to use my ski pole, which had a hooked handle as well. That was my weapon, because you pull the ferrule off the bottom. That's what it's called. I know this because I had to buy some new ones. You pull the ferrule off the bottom and there's a spike because it's a ski pole. So I'd walk with it like that. Stephen, agreed, Elle, get distance, get ahead. Yeah, that's like me today as well when I was running. There was a guy cycling towards me, not an actual cyclist, what we would call in South Africa a skellum, a bit of a wrong 'un, if you like. And I could see, you know, just that look. And I don't want to paint people like that, but it was just the look of the person. And he actually pulled over to the side of the trail to let me run past. And yeah, he was smoking a doob. So yeah, bit of a wrong 'un. But, you know, there's always that fear like, right, must I speed up now? Must I really put my foot down and speed up? But he was polite and, you know, so, whew. But there's always that fear that women have, isn't there? That we are afraid there's a guy walking towards us. What do we do? What do we do? How can we protect ourselves? Should I cross the road? Even in the daylight. So yeah, that's another piece of news about Tate. Oh no, I've lost the other thing that I had. Just bear with me, guys, because there is a killer fungus out there. I get the weirdest things that come up on my feed at night when I can't sleep. Okay, this is in the Daily Express, but it's in several news articles as well. Warning issued over killer fungus branded threat to humanity spreading in the UK. So think The Last of Us. We're all going to become mushrooms. Stephen, always listen to your instincts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Always trust your instincts. Always, always, always. Even when you meet somebody for the first time, trust your instincts. If you're going on a date, I'm going to do a live about dating in the modern world, especially with the manosphere. To be honest, I'm not interested in going on any dates unless it's for a coffee with a mate. So this killer fungus, the UK Health Security Agency said the fungal pathogen was gaining attention from healthcare professionals and public health authorities worldwide. A deadly fungus first identified in the Far East and spreading across the world might sound like a plot from the US hit TV series The Last of Us, but the doomsday scenario has become a reality as a fungus originating from Japan is causing alarm for health officials in the UK. Candidozyma, formerly Candida auris, C. auris, is a yeast species first isolated and identified in the external ear canal of a patient in Japan. That gives me the freaks. That freaks me out. I have this fear of things crawling in my ears at night. In Japan in 2009 and has since been found in more than 40 countries across 6 continents, according to the UK Health Security Agency. What makes C. auris particularly concerning is its remarkable resilience, which allows it to survive on surfaces for long periods of time, and it is often resistant to disinfectants and common antifungal drugs. So yeah, there's another reason to use your hand sanitizer and to keep washing your hands. A person can contract C. auris through a fungal infection into the blood, brain and spinal cord, bones, abdomen, wounds, ears, respiratory tract and urinary system. In extreme cases, especially in people who already have existing health issues, the fungus can be fatal in between 30 and 60% of the patients. So the fungus that helps is going to kill us, yeah. You just finished watching Stephen, a season 2 trip. Don't tell me, because I need to take out a thing on Paramount so that I can watch that, because the first season was free and now I've got to pay for it, so it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, a new fungus. So watch out for that one. While not yet widespread in England, it is important that we remain aware that C. auris may spread in hospital environments. Another reason not to go to hospital. Through effective infection prevention and control measures, rigorous hygiene practices, ongoing monitoring and continued research, its spread may be minimised. C. auris primarily spreads through contact with contaminated surfaces, or medical equipment, or via direct contact with individuals who are colonized. People can carry the fungus on their skin without developing an infection called colonization. However, someone who has C. auris on their skin may become infected if it enters their body, for example, through a wound, or if they have had an invasive medical device inserted, for example, a catheter or a drip. WHO has identified the emerging fungus as one of 19 lethal fungi that pose a serious threat to humanity in a recent report. And of course, fungi is the biggest organism on the planet. Just a little bit more of a reason to be afeared of the slimy fungus. There is a song by, I think, is it Tones on Tail, who sing it, called Slimy Fungus, or Scary Fungus, or Creepy Fungus. That's going to do my head in if I don't find it now. Let me have a look. Yeah, Slimy Fungus, Tones on Tail. Yeah. There we go. Tones on Tail were an offshoot of Bauhaus. It was basically Bauhaus minus Peter Murphy. So yeah, beware the killer fungus. Mother Nature always fights back. She definitely does, Stephen. She doesn't want us on this planet anymore, and who can blame her? Who can blame her? If I was Mother Nature, I'd be like, listen, get off now. All of you, go away. We need to be kind. Today when I was running, there's, where I run, there's a road that's sort of halfway through, and a lot of people go there and eat their lunch. And this guy was in a car and he threw his can of whatever out of the window. And I turned and went a different way. I'm like, you know, my initial reaction was to pick it up and throw it back at him, but he would probably have got out the car and, you know, people who do those things generally are aggressive kinds of people. And, you know, I just want to, people who litter, don't like litter at all. Right, guys, I'm going to go because it's nearly 6:30. I've been on way longer than I had hoped, and I'm starving. I want my dinner, and I have another piece of cheesecake for later on as well. So, but I've also got some strawberries, so maybe I'll have the strawberries with some yogurt, and yeah, that's probably a little bit healthier. Yeah, Stephen, I detest litter bugs. And don't get me started on dog poo. Don't get me started on dog poo. That just does my head in. Completely does my head in. It's like, if you have a dog, you clean up after it. I have cats, I clean up after my cats, which is another thing that I have to do this evening. Right, I will see all of you who are on the social tomorrow morning. I will see you all there. If you can, please make a donation to cancer research for my running for the month of June. Stephen, you've enjoyed your first live with me. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Stephen. I've enjoyed you being here. You've really, you know, contributed to the chat. It's really, really great. And I love the fact that a lot of you guys that are on here are on the social as well. So it's like we're all friends. It's like we're all friends. It's really cool. TX Meets, your first live also. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Really, thank you. So please, if you can, like the video. It just helps with the algorithms. And yeah, if you can donate to the Cancer Research Fund, I would really, really appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening. Blessed be. Mwah.